Welcome to this short demonstration on zero latency endpoint control. There's three parts to this demonstration. The first is showing you a new way to visualize phones using a rendering of the call activity on the phone based on CTI information. The second part is a new universal keypad that performs CTI control of the endpoints. And finally, we have a number of new and powerful keyboard shortcuts that I've introduced. So the first thing I'm going to show you is screen rendering. So right now we have three phones. We're looking at the screens of those phones from a physical perspective. We're seeing what the user sees. I'm going to enable rendering on the first phone. So I right click on that device and I choose automatic screen render. And we now have a emulation of the call activity on that device. You can see things like the call timer ticking away is a lot faster than a screenshot. This is sub-second latency. If I click on the second phone, which is using a screenshot, and then I hang that call up, you will see that the rendering shows the call disconnected immediately, but it takes a couple of seconds for the screenshot to catch up. So the next thing I'll show you is just using the keypad to dial. So I just can click the call to bring up dial tone, and then I can dial the extension of that second phone using the keypad. And you can see the call is being placed outbound, and a few seconds later we can now see that call coming in. And even though the phone is still showing a screenshot, we can still control it using the keypad. So I can click answer and answer the call. There's no need to press the soft key operation. So it's independent of the soft key layouts. And you can see the timers ticking over second by second on rendering, but it's every couple of seconds in terms of the screenshot. I can now place that call on hold, like so. We can see the hold icon, and we can hang up that call as well. And if we want to, we can show rendering for all devices in a single operation. If I go to the toolbar here, and I can flip over to automatic screen render for all visible phones. And now we're looking at all of the devices from a rendering perspective. So the next thing I want to show you is the universal keypad in the bottom left corner here. This performs stateful CTI operations that are model independent. They're logical operations instead of physical buttons, and it allows you to dial either ad hoc or on block dialing. So either way works. So I'll just select this first phone, and in this case I'm going to do on hook dialing. So I'm going to enter the digits before placing the call. So I'll type in the extension number of the phone to its right. So you can see the digits being collected and displayed. I then click call, and we can see that call being placed outbound. I'll hang that call up, and I now am going to do off hook dialing. So we go off hook first this time before we dial the digits, and now I enter that extension like so. So it's just the same as you would drive the handset directly. It's the exact same interaction options are available to you. I'll now answer that call, so I just click on it and then click the answer, and I can now perform those same operations, and you'll see that update. So if I now click hold, you can see the icon representing it, and unhold that call, and now I can transfer. So this is effectively ad hoc transfer. So when I press the transfer button, it brings up a consult call. I can now type in the third phone's extension number, and if I press transfer a second time, it will send that call over to the other phone. I can click on that third device and click answer, and there we are. We've transferred the call over. So we'll hang up. Now what we're going to do is on block dialing. So we're entering the phone number first. So there's a text area inside the universal keypad. So I'm going to dial a number directly using its extension number. So I'll put in the extension of the second device. I'll click on the first phone here, and this time when I click one of these three operations, conference, transfer, or call, because I have a value entered inside the text box area, it will now perform a call, transfer, or conference to that destination that's entered. So this time, when I click the call button, it'll make phone 1 call that number, as we can see. We'll then click on the second phone, click answer, and we have an established call. I'm going to edit that number and we'll put in the third phone's extension now. And I'm now going to transfer that call. So we just click the transfer button this time. So we'll transfer to that third device like so. I'll now go to that third device and answer. Let's conference this time. So I'll edit that number to the second phone device and then we click conference and it brings in a conference call to all three. We'll click on that middle phone and we'll answer it as well. And there we are. So that's the nice simple operations that you can drive complex call scenarios directly from the universal keypad. And I can select all these devices and then click end call just to hang up all those phone calls. The next thing I want to show you finally is some enhanced keyboard shortcuts that we've introduced. So the first thing that you should note is you can use the left right cursor keys to select any of the phones you want to work with. So if I do left arrow, I'll go to the first phone, right arrow, I'll go to the right, left arrow, it goes back the way. So it just means you can effectively work with one phone at a time quite quickly and simply just by using the left right arrow keys. So if I go to the second phone, and this is all using the keyboard, just to point that out, I now press enter on the keyboard and it takes the call Offic. I can now dial an extension number, obviously just using the numbers on the keyboard. So I'll dial the extension number of the third phone so we can see that call being placed. I can press the right arrow to go to the third phone. I can press enter again because it's a stateful shortcut. So enter when the phone is idle will go off hook, ready to collect digits. But if you press enter when a phone is ringing, instead it will intelligently answer instead. So it means that there's less keyboard combinations and shortcuts required because each of those actions is stateful. So now I'm going to go to the first phone. And you can also select individual lines. If you hold Control and then the button position, so in this case I'll do Control 4 to choose the last line configured on this phone. And I'm going to dial that third phone again, so I'll type in its extension. And we can see there's two connections on that third phone with that new call that's ringing away there. If I press the right arrow twice, I can move on to that third phone. And I can simply again press enter to answer that call. And what you can also do is use the up down cursor keys to navigate between connections. So I press the up cursor key, that moves the selection to the first connection. We can toggle the hold operations. So if I move down again, I could do an up again, I can move between them. But if I press spacebar, it unholds the first connection, and you can see obviously automatically the second one gets hold. And if I want to, for example, hang up a call, I can use the escape key, but it will hang up the selected connection. So let's say I move down to that second connection appearance, I press escape, that second connection gets dropped, and if I press escape a second time, then it drops that other connection. So that concludes this new functionality, which provides a new way to drive your endpoints purely from a calling perspective, quick, simple, and efficient endpoint control with zero latency.